My name is Lawson Osteen. I've been a park ranger here at Nina River for about 4 years. In 1973, the governor finally announced Nina River State Park would become a thing, and later that year, I think in August or so, we finally had the first parcels of land. And then around 1975 or so is when I think some of the gates started to open, and this access here would have just been a gravel lot and probably a metal gate at the time. So that's when some of the master planning started happening and starting to get that stuff rolling. But at the time, it was really just a parking lot for people to walk into the woods. Master planning was put on hold around 1976, 77 to figure out some issues with some of the neighbors and where parking lots would go and trails and extensions of property. I think it wasn't probably till the late 70s, early 80s when some of that stuff got built. But this office that we're in would have been built originally, and then now almost 40 some odd years later, we're getting a new visitor center, new maintenance buildings. So it's been quite a while for us getting stuff built. I've worked here about 4 years now. I'm actually born and raised in Durham and went to school in the mountains and then came back. And so I was really fortunate to get a job here in my neighborhood and all that stuff. And it's been really interesting for me to be working and sharing programs and education and history like this in somewhere that I grew up and didn't know it. And it gives me a chance to kind of learn more stuff and show off what was here, even though I was kind of blind to it. So you get a lot of different stuff, especially things that you see in the Piedmont. We get a lot of deer, a lot of squirrels, and then you start to get a lot of stuff that you're not really going to see unless you're out on the trails, where things tend to get a little more quiet. It's always really cool to check out box turtles. You'll see different kind of basking turtles along the rocks in the river. Sometimes they're snakes. We get a lot of questions about bears, but we don't have bears here. They pass through from the mountains to the beach. But every now and then we get one that sticks around, and that always seems to be a big draw for the public. They like to ask us about it. And then there's a lot of smaller stuff. I really like salamanders. We've got some of the rangers here who are really big into the plant life and trees, especially spring wildflowers are a big draw for us, and a lot of visitors come to check those out. So the size of the park changes every year. We're always trying to add more parcels and stuff. I know it's over 4,000 acres of land. And we also manage Occoneechee and Hillsborough, which adds about another 500 acres. The whole goal of the park has been to protect the river on both sides, and continuously there are still parcels of land out there that we don't protect, that are still privately owned. But we own a lot of the river from north of here at Fuse Ford in Orange County down towards Guest Road in Durham, and then it becomes city park and protected. So there's a lot of protection almost all the way from here at Fuse Ford, almost all the way to Falls Lake. So one of the things for park rangers we say is we wear a lot of different hats. So we're law enforcement within the park, we're teachers, we do educational outreach programs and field trips, as well as monthly stuff just for the public. We do emergency first responders, we do prescribed fire, chainsaw operating. So it really all varies kind of depending on what you want to get up to for the day. Lately I've been working on purchasing and office stuff for our new visitor center, which that's not something that would be our normal daily routine, but it's just something we have to deal with. Meanwhile, I know another ranger right now is checking on parking lots, make sure there's no break-ins, and another ranger's out cutting a tree on a trail right now. So you can get up to a little bit of everything. Most weather, when it comes through to the Piedmont here, is kind of fizzled out for the most part, but when we get the bigger storms, if it's going to be bad enough, we have about 15 campsites here at Eno. And so we try to vacate and tell campers that they need to leave if stuff is going to be bad. And then the biggest thing afterwards is any kind of operations. We can experience flooding. We can have trees down on trails or other safety areas. And so it's a really big concern, especially getting out after a hurricane, checking for those trees. You get a lot of craziness. You get a lot of different things. You can have a day go from busy parking lots and to injured hikers needing help to dealing with cleaning bathrooms and other things, especially during COVID. After we opened back up, we were just seeing so many people. So really just the crowds and things that come along with having a lot of people in the park can get pretty crazy sometimes.
There's a beaver that hangs out here. If you catch him, he'll slap his tail at you. And then there's a muskrat that lives around here. Most of the time there's sliders here. In this field in the spring, there's a huge, I don't know what type of frog they are, but there's hundreds of them and they sing. They are beautiful. There's also coyotes, just to warn you. They hunt here and they chase things down. I've seen 2 run up into here, but they're usually chasing a deer, but they will take somebody's dog. Well, if you have your dog off leash and the dog goes with them, that's their dinner. People don't get that either. They're like, oh, my dog's good. Yeah, your dog's good. It'll be good lunch. They say there's bobcats. I've never seen a bobcat. She's chased a raccoon up a tree here on this trail. This trail's got a lot more wildlife I've seen than a lot of the other trails. Nobody comes out here, yeah. So in the winter, this area is where the great blue heron roost. And I have pictures of 2 of them in a tree. They roost here and they mate here. I got a picture of a baby one because it moved. Because he's small, he has no color, but he moved, and that's how I caught a picture of him, and he was only like this big. That was about a month and a half ago. But there are so many blue herons here.
My name is Cheryl Kiken. I started hiking at the Eno when COVID started, so try to get about 10 or 12 miles in a week. I like the history. You know, they've got certain things around the park that tell you about people that used to live here, and just being outside, and it's not too hard to climb, so just about anybody could do the trails out here.
My name is Marshall. This is my first time at Eno River State Park. I saw it on the map close to here, so I decided to come check it out. And so far I've seen the river and this bridge, and it seems pretty cool.
My name is Jordan, and I like it here because it's quiet.
Here all the time. I just been doing it for so long. I haven't thought about why I do it in a while. My name is Sam Stevens. I come to the Eno River State Park almost every day because it's, you know, one of the most beautiful state parks in North Carolina, and it's a good place to think and work out problems and get exercise.